Let's stand for the moment of silence first, and then we'll do Pledge of Allegiance. Amen. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everyone here tonight. I want to welcome the press corps. I want to welcome the representative from Fort Bragg and everybody who is here tonight. You are a distinguished honor, distinguished guest, and it's an honor for us for you to be here. At this time, we have a name for public comment. We have Christina here. Christina here. The superintendent will help me keep the time. You have 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for letting me speak today. I'm here today to suggest a new policy for sports. What's the purpose of a sport? It's to teach our children virtue.
Ma'am, excuse me, would you speak into the microphone?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
There are many misguided reasons why children play sport. The parents force them to gain popularity, a cheap babysitting option, to get scholarships, to win at all cost, or today's media tells them they have to be someone to play. The reason we should want our children to participate in sports is to teach them compassion, love, humility, faith, courage, discipline, leadership, work ethic, empathy, thankfulness, and much more. And this leads me to expectations of a coach. I would like the coach to provide children with these life skills. A coach to have the coach have children undivided attention. It's much more than teachers do. My expectations of a coach is to assist athletes in developing their full potential. They're responsible for training athletes while analyzing their performance, providing relevant skill and instruction. They do this mainly by encouraging the athletes to pull the very best out of them. The coach should create the right conditions in learning and ways to make that happen. They need to find ways to motivate these athletes. A lot of times athletes are very motivated already, but she's got to keep that momentum going. The coach should not be here for money or to stroke their own ego to satisfy repressed frustrations of a failing athletic career, or any of own personal reasons. They should be here because they're compassionate for these children, mainly. So, I have 2 girls that play the Lee County High School volleyball team. One of the girls have pretty much sat the bench the entire season. They've played 17 games, about 62 sets. Mine has played 1 full set. I just feel like there should be a policy to let these girls play minimal amount of time. If they are good enough to be on the team, why not just say minimal amount of time, say 15%. I know they can't play equal time. I know she's not the best. I know she's not the worst. At one game, a couple games, every single one is played but her. And it really breaks her down. All these things that the coach is supposed to be teaching is taken away from her. And I just feel like it should be come about a different way. We've approached her and asked her. My husband went and talked to the coach, and she really didn't give a reason for benching her. Not a straight reason. And my daughters went to her. She wants the kids to come to her, not the parents. And she said that you just need to be better. Oh, it's time? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's shorter than I thought.
we will have a vision and the code of ethics read. We have the vision of Lee County Schools.
Lee County Schools, in partnership with the community, will provide challenging learning experiences for students in a safe and supportive environment. We are committed to academic excellence, technological innovations, social responsibility, and lifelong learning. Our success will be demonstrated by the achievement of our students and their positive participation in society.
Code of Ethics for School Board Members, Policy 2120. The Board recognizes that collectively and individually, all members of the Board must adhere to an accepted code of ethics in order to improve public education. Members of the Lee County Board of Education should avoid conflicts of interest and appearance of conflicts of interest as we handle the work of the board. Avoid solicitation and or acceptance of gifts in return for advice or assistance on matters concerning the operations of the business of the board. Avoid the misuse of public funds. Avoid misrepresentation or falsification of facts, and avoid making confidential information public. The board accepts the code of ethics established by the North Carolina School Boards Association.
Thank you. At this time, we'll need a motion for the approval of the agenda for 10:10.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the agenda for Tuesday, October the 10th, 2017.
Second.
We have the motion and I seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? The motion is approved. The next thing on our minute is the approval of the minutes, 9/12.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion we approve our minutes of 9/12/2017.
We need a second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? The motion is approved. At this time, we will go to the announcement and the chairman's report. We have so much report to give. So many things, good things have happened in our school in the last few weeks. The head of class has been recognized, Greenwood. The principal of the year also came from Greenwood. I think this is Greenwood's year. So we want to congratulate the principal at Greenwood and the staff at Greenwood and all the students. They were so excited, and just seeing them performing at the Civic Center was very, very interesting, and we just want to congratulate them. Also, we had this past week we have the Manufacturing Day, and at the Manufacturing Day we see a lot of robots and technological things that the kids will be doing, and kids came from all over to come and be part of it, and we're very grateful to what Jerry Pedley is doing for our children. Also, tonight we have we want to announce to us that on 10/18, AVID will have a national demonstration school validation for AVID at Sanley Middle School. So if you want to be part of it, come out and be part of the program on that day. Also, the Sanford contractor invited the board members to their Partners Appreciation Day. School from tomorrow, we'll have one of us going to represent the school board at the North Carolina Law Conference, and Dr. Kobo will be going from tomorrow to the law conference. So be in prayer for him and his wife as they travel, or you. This time we want to recognize the young commissioners who are here, and who is their representative who came with them? Okay.
How about both of you, Bill Stone and Cindy? Steve.
Well, thank you, Chairman Akinosho and school board members. It's our honor to be here tonight. My name is Bill Stone. I'm the County Extension Director with the Cooperative Extension here in Lee County, and very excited to be here with a great group of young folks tonight, and also a great 4-H club leader, Miss Cindy Howenstein. Our Young Commissioners Club has been in existence, I think, now going on 5 years, and has transitioned into a full-time 4-H club. It's a club that focuses on government, local civic engagement, and really being a valuable part of their community and giving back and serving the people in the county. All are Lee County school products, and I think represent the school system extremely well. And Miss Cindy Howenstein is their 4-H club leader, and I just want to recognize her to maybe to recognize each one of these individuals. And I think the current or the incoming president of the club is going to come up and just give some brief remarks. So again, thank you for your support, and thank you for having us here tonight. I also wanted to thank Mr. Kelly for joining us during the summer program, and I think at that point Mr. Kelly extended an invitation for the group members to come to a board meeting, so we wanted to be sure to take him up on that offer as they learn more about the function of boards and governments in their community. So again, thank you very much.
And after your speech, he requested that the kids can come up and take pictures with us, and we will do that.
Wonderful. Thank you.
I too want to thank you for letting us come to your meeting tonight, and thank Mr. Kelly for coming and talking to the kids. He was a real inspiration to get them excited about learning more about what goes on in Sanford and how things are run. By our names, everybody thinks that, you know, all the kids that come to our club want to go into politics, but actually they're just trying to learn how to be better citizens. And we have a great group of kids this year. This is just a small representation of what we have, but I'd like to have everybody come up and introduce themselves, if that's okay.
Good evening, my name is Hugo Cortez, and I'm a sophomore at Lee Early College.
Good afternoon, school board members. I am Susie Brito and currently attend Lee Early College.
Good evening, I'm Mackenzie Roach, and following trend, I also attend Lee Early College. Good evening, my name is Lauren Love, and I attend Lee Early College.
Good evening, my name is Madison Perez, and I go to Lee County High School. Gosh.
I can see.
You had everybody going there for a second.
Good evening, my name is Paulina Romero, and I attend Lee County High School.
Good evening, board. My name is Kevin Ramirez. I attend Lee County High School as a junior. I am the new 2018 Lee County Young Commissioner President and currently the Vice President this year. Young Commissioners has engaged me in so many opportunities in the community, such as public speaking and community service. I've been in 4-H before Young Commissioners for probably 10 years now, and that as well has helped me grow as a mature youth here in Lee County. So I was one of the first people in the group who started the whole program, and ever since then we kept going at our strongest. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you guys coming here tonight, and we hope some of you in the not too distant future will be running for offices in Lee County and around the country. I'm not against that. We want you to do what is good. That's part of your civic responsibility. So at this time, we want to take pictures with you.
No, I was just going to say the Young Commissioners Program, although I haven't been directly involved with it, I've kind of kept an eye on it for years. As a friend of mine's child was in the very first class of Young Commissioners, and I know what they study, and I know the opportunities that are laying out before you. And the fact that you took the time out of your lives to commit to a program that on the outside may not look exciting, it may not look like it has all the bells and whistles, but as far as its permanent impact on your lives, I commend you for that. And as they were saying, don't turn down the opportunity at politics. I never thought I would run for office either, but you'd be amazed at what can motivate you and put you in one of these chairs up here. And with your passion starting so young, I think you'd be excellent representative of your peers and your people from now until forever. So congratulations. Good job.
If I may follow it up, and from the very beginning, I didn't inspire you, you inspired me. Our conversation that day way longer than it should have been. And since then, I've seen several of you around town and have got engaged in different organizations. obviously, and I keep seeing you around, and that's a good thing. This is what this program is about, that you get more involved and that you become more involved in your community. So I wish this would have been in place when I was in 4-H years ago. No offense, Bill. But it's a pleasure to have you here tonight.
So let's take a quick picture.
Sharon, could we and Haley organize this for everybody with a picture?
So I think what we're thinking is like board commissioners, if y'all want to come up here. Is it too wide, Haley? To do the whole.
If you stay between
Okay.
but we'll have to switch. And I think we need the chair.
Move the chairs behind, or move them out of the way.
Give all them seats to them.
All right, if y'all come in front of us.
Step in a hole between their shoulders, and we should.
Yes, we need some windows. And maybe Ophelia and Mr. Coble, you could come around to the side. We have room for that.
There we go.
All right. 3, 2. Everybody good? All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Ladies and gents. Thank you for being here. Yes. We've all played musical chairs. Nobody knows which chair they started with.
That's fun. The next thing we want, the person we want to recognize is the Boy Scout. I think I see the Scout Master here. Come up with your scout.
Mr. Travis Bottom.
And if I may, Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Travis could come up. Each month, we recognize someone who has given an extra effort for the community, and we've had all sorts of people, from students to parents to community members, who we recognize. And just for a moment, Travis is our extra effort award winner tonight, our superintendent's extra effort award winner. But I'd like to ask Jennifer Allen, who is principal at Floyd Knight, and Charlotte Johns to come forward, please. I want them to share just a little bit about what Travis has done. He has achieved a great honor for himself, but at the same time, as is his commitment to the community, I think he's done a wonderful service for our schools and community, and that's very worth noting tonight.
Good evening. Travis Bottom had a vision to build a deck with onto the elementary learning college at Floyd Knight School in order to provide a safe outside space for the children to learn. After meeting the unique students that we have and learning of their unique needs, he decided to include a ramp onto his project, which by far exceeded his original planning and his original funding and that kind of thing. But he took it upon himself to add a ramp, and so that could be used as a second exit for the children to utilize. Travis worked tirelessly in designing his vision, gathering the needed materials, and recruiting volunteers to assist him in his efforts. With determination and hard work, his vision was made into a reality. On behalf of the students and staff of Floyd L. Knight School, I thank you, Travis, for your generosity, your kindness, and your thoughtfulness. It has and will continue to make a difference in the students' educational experience. Your hard work with this project is truly appreciated. And we like to thank you for allowing us to be a part of your project. And we wanted to give you a small token. It's a picture of all the kids utilizing the ramp and the deck that you so generously put together for us.
Charlotte, would you like to say a few words?
As an adult leader, it is not my job to describe the project he's a young man that's started this on his own, and he needs to be the one to describe it to you guys because this is his project.
Travis, the floor is yours.
Well, just as I received this very nice picture, so I received was told about the award that I would be receiving tonight. I was equally surprised as I am now because I wasn't really looking to get an award such as this, and it was a great shock to be so appreciated and, well, so formally appreciated by everyone here. I did this project because it was a part of becoming an Eagle Scout, which is a trail to transform from becoming a boy to a young man, and such as the rank of Eagle distinguishes the Eagles from other such ranks, is its difficulty to achieve, and the amount of work, the amount of effort, and the amount of self-sacrifice for your time and your efforts to do such a project. And I was suggested, Ms. Johns suggested a series of ideas and brought a suggestion that Floyd L. Knight had a need, and I decided to fulfill that need. And it's a great honor just to be able to do a project such as this, but it's an even greater one to be acknowledged by so many people and to be thanked by so many people.
Travis, if you don't mind, along with the token that Ms. Allen and Ms. Johns have given you, I'd like to recognize you with the Superintendent's Extra Effort Award for your willingness to put this project in place, going way beyond the call of duty. And what a lot of people in here don't know is planning this from the very beginning, from putting the project together, seeing the need, going through our committee structure to work through that, and then completing the project, and then sort of full circle tonight coming to the culmination of the project. But so we thank you for everything. I'm going to present you with this plaque, and it's also customary that Superintendent's Extra Effort Award winner has their picture taken with the board members as well on the floor here. Congratulations.
Why is the superintendent? It's the superintendent award. Seeing in your screen.
Now, are you still wanting to do architecture? I know that you were thinking about designing and engineering and that thing.
I haven't quite decided what career path I want to follow. I'm interested in military things. I'm thinking there to see, taking a few fundamentals engineering that I have been interested in the fields of architecture, and I'm even taking a welding apprenticeship.
Because he designed it from the ground up, so he did everything along with the help. And you guys are welcome to come out and take a look at it. We'll eat lunch out there.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Wrong seat. I'm determined to take somebody's seat. First, I'm saying, now, it's got her stuff. How about this thing?
Mr. Chair, may I continue? Just go ahead and continue
Yes,
with
go ahead.
superintendent's report. This time I'd like to ask Dr. Jim Atkinson to come forward, please, to award our Clean School of the Month award.
Good evening. That's a tough act to follow. That was very, very good. This is the first award for this school year, the Clean School of the Month award, and it's also the first time that East Lee Middle School has won. So we are very proud of them. And I'd like for the administration and staff to come up, Ms. Littlejohn, Ms. Brewer, and the custodial staff for East Lee. And they're now under the leadership of Mr. Frank Thompson, who is filling in for Ms. Sharon Williams. And Ms. Littlejohn, if you would. Congratulations to you. You can say a word or two.
Was not prepared to say anything. I would just like to congratulate our custodians at East Lee Middle School. They have been doing a wonderful, phenomenal job, and I am so ecstatic to be in the building with them. They take very good care of us at East Lee and our building. Thank you, guys.
Y'all want to come down and get a picture with us? No, I'm big. I'm big.
Now, Lisa, I mean, I won't be objected to that now.
Miss Littlejohn, you want to get in the picture? All right, look, she's out. Sorry, guys.
And I have to make the shameless plug. I'm so happy to be a part of the East Lee family. This is the first year that I have a little one that's made it into middle school, and we're a proud Rocket, and we're very proud to be in the East Lee building and get to see the hard work that's happening every day from custodial staff all the way up. So anyway, that's my shameless, plug for East Lee.
Well done. You all did a great job.
Thank you for everything.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, it also gives me great pleasure tonight to award the board with a Silver Bell Award. It recognizes boards across the state where every member has actively worked towards meeting their 12 hours of training during the July 1 to June 30th time frame. And our board has completed that. And here's the certificate for you, Mr. Chair, for the entire board for the Silver Bell Award for the state. Congratulations to the entire board.
Thank you. And I think our board is working hard to achieve all their credits. And this is a professional board, and we want to remain professional in everything that we do because we shape the future of our children. So thank you for this award.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. With our accountability update, a lot of the information I'm sharing has been repeated. I think Mr. Akinosho, pointed out several of the events that have occurred over the last few weeks, from the head of class to Manufacturing Day to the announcement that Stanley Middle School is going to be an AVID demonstration site, which, for those of you who don't know, it's very difficult to become an AVID demonstration site. Only 3% of schools in the country are awarded that. So certainly great recognition for them. The other thing I'd like to mention, I noted this in our last meeting, a few of the statistics, but I would like to just go back to, obviously our board has a very powerful goal for our schools in that all of our students will graduate with more than a diploma. And we measure that by how each graduating class measures up. And last year's class, the class of 2017, I think did very well. Our class, 2017, earned 48 associate degrees upon graduation, 1,449 career and technical credentials, and credit from 2,418 college courses. So the entire class took 2,418 college classes. How does that compare? The 2418 is up from 2,300 from the class of 2016 and up from 1,622 from the class of 2015. Our graduation rate, of course, was 90%. We had 420 high school diploma endorsements, up from 453 the previous year and 393 the year before that. We had 457 students earn career and technical education credentials, which is up from 323 the previous year and 232 the year before that. 214 students completed at least one advanced placement or international baccalaureate class. And 370 students out of the graduating class earned at least one college credit. That means 50% of the graduates in the class of 2017 earned a college credit. We're very excited about that. We hope to build on that for the future. For the class of 2018, does that have a nice ring for some people? And we will keep moving forward with that. That's sort of the accountability update for us. Of course, we have I think gotten off to a great start with our traditional school calendar. Year-round and early college start early in July and August, respectively, and feel very good about where we're going. Final thing on my report tonight, Mr. Chair. I've spoken to you about this this week, and would like to pose this idea to the board. Our architect is working feverishly on the Wicker School Plan, and is finishing up some final sort of work on that. I would like to recommend, since the commissioners have been such great partners with this and been so supportive of it, I would like to recommend that once the architect is finished, that I request from the county manager, and thus he from the Board of Commissioners, a joint meeting for the architect to present the plans.
That would be good. Maybe we need a motion for that so that we can approve that.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we, the Lee County Board of Education, have a joint meeting with the Lee County Board of Commissioners to review the plans of W. Wicker Elementary School presented by the architect.
Second it.
We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion is approved. We will have a meeting, just get with them and get a date.
And I will find a date that is mutually convenient for everybody. Of course, it'll be a public meeting, and I will get that to you as soon as possible.
Okay. Thank you. That concludes the superintendent's report. At this time, we go to the committee reports, CNI, and also after that, I will want to recognize Dr. Kobush. He wanted to say something last time. Are you still?
I just had a little observation that I wanted to share with Dr. Bryan. Over the summer, I was very privileged to observe some things that I don't think get a lot of recognition. One, our church had Stephanie Clark come in, and she thanked our church for supporting B.T. Bullock and some things that people were doing. And the biggest impression I got was there's so much heart involved in it, so much heart involved in the schools and in what the schools are doing. 2 or 3 of my kids are involved, that I've taught over the years, are involved in the public schools here in Lee County. And the overall tenor is very positive, very positive. I noticed the graduation we had at Bragg Street. I believe the superintendent and I were there at that graduation. And there weren't significant numbers, but there was a very significant thing going on there. In years past, I've worked with adult basic education in the corrections center, in the corrections facilities. And I know that there's no place that we tell a child that we've given up on them. No place. And I've asked questions of the superintendent about how far we can go with public education into the prisons. I think the local community college takes care of a lot of that. But you know, every step of the way, from every particular school that's in Lee County, there are stopgaps for every student so that they don't have to fall through the cracks. What encourages me when I was looking at all this summer was how many employees with the county school system are actively involved in being that stopgap. I had the pleasure of going to Project Liftoff over at San Lee Middle when they had their little graduation ceremony. And not to drop names, but Dr. Johnny Waller, I almost said the other one, Dr. Johnny Waller and so many of the teachers were involved in that, and it was just an outreach. It was a hand out to young people when they need a hand. I don't think a lot of the things that Lee County Schools does is measured accurately on any stats that I'm aware of, but there's a lot of heart in there, and I wanted to recognize that. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we will recognize CNI. Dr. Livingston.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good evening. First, let me thank the school board for the opportunity to attend the Think Big for Small People Conference. It was held on the campus of UNC, hosted by the UNC School of Government. And the reason for that was to help increase awareness of the importance of the NC pre-K, pre-kindergarten education. And I just want to talk about 5 points that I gathered from this conference, and I'm going to put it in a version of Did You Know that pre-kindergarten education, which is pre-K, is increasingly being recognized as an integral part of efforts to help close the achievement gaps that exist at the time children enter kindergarten and can persist until they enter the workforce. Did you know that whether a third grader reads at grade level is predictive of whether that child will graduate from high school, enroll in education and training after high school, and develop high-level job skills? Did you know that at the halfway point between birth and grade 3, pre-K for 4-year-olds is one of the efforts receiving a lot of attention by policymakers, parents, education researchers, and brain scientists? And lastly, the state of North Carolina supports a targeted program for 4-year-olds called NC Pre-K that was ranked first nationally in quality but 41st in access by U.S. News and World Report in 2016. And so I really enjoyed that conference, and it was dear to me because I do have a 3-year-old that I am actively trying to raise at this time. So, Mr. Chair, all these points and more were discussed during the conference. Also, the 2017-19 state budget was funded to serve an estimated 1,725 additional children in the NC Pre-K during the next school year, and about twice that much in the budget would be for 2018-2019. And to talk about the Curriculum and Instructions Committee, we met on Wednesday, September the 27th at Southern Lee High School. All high schools are increased their performance scores, teacher turnover rates are down, and graduation rates are up. Dr. Chris Dawsonbach presented best practices moment on the using EVASS to drive instructions, also known as EVAS. This software uses previous testing data and patterns to provide an expected score. Students, teachers, and school growth is then determined, and a 3-year consecutive years are used for the testing in this formula. The next CNI committee meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, October the 11th at 3:30 p.m. at East Lee Middle School. Dr. Coble will not be able to attend the meeting, but in his absence, we have Dr. Akanosho, who will be in attendance there. Mr. Chair, this concludes my report.
Thank you. We are looking at Dr. Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Facilities and Technology Committee met on September the 26th, 2017. The first item on our agenda was a discussion of the West Landing Property Owners Association placing a sign on school property at Wesley Middle and Ingram schools. Attorney Love advised the group the best way to handle the signage on Lee County Schools property would be a license agreement as opposed to a purchase. A survey design, sign design, and maintenance on the sign will be required at the expense of the Property Owners Association. And of course, at any time, Lee County Schools would have the right to ask the sign be removed if we so choose. It was the consensus of the committee to proceed with a license agreement pending the West Landing Property Owners Association is in agreement. Mr. Reed and Mr. Yarborough, who represented the association, will present the information to the Property Owner Association in December, and they'll keep us informed on the outcome. The second item was a Greenwood repiping project, and it was a consensus of the committee to award the Greenwood Elementary School repipe septic tanks bid to Reliable Plumbing Incorporated in the amount of $22,856. This, of course, is on the consent agenda, and incidentally, this will complete hooking up the septic system at Greenwood School to Sanford's public system. We received an update on W. Wicker School. Superintendent Bryan informed the committee that Jimmy Height, our architect, continues to work on the design at W. Wicker project, and we will hear how his work is going at our joint meeting to be scheduled with the commissioners. The next Facility and Technology Committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, October the 24th at 4 p.m. in the second floor of the conference room.
Okay. Finance, Dr. Smith.
Mr. Chairman, the Finance Committee did not meet. We had a meeting scheduled for September 21st. Our Finance Director, Kelly Jones, advised there was no pertinent business, so that meeting was canceled. Our next meeting will be on October the 19th at 5 p.m. in the conference room in the Hines Building.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we will listen to Ms. Bowen, Sandra Bowen.
The policy committee did not meet since our last meeting, so the only thing we have are the 4 policies that are a holdover for second reading this evening. Our next policy meeting is scheduled for next Tuesday. That's 1 week from today, 5 p.m. in the Hines Building, and we should be expecting that agenda tomorrow. Yes, I got confirmation from the back row.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we will ask for a motion for the approval of the consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? The consent agenda is approved. We're going to the next one is the policy reading.
Mr. Chair, the committee brings forth policies 2330, board meeting agenda, policy 3470/4305, alternative learning programs in schools, policy 4540/6140, student wellness, and policy 4700, student records. These were up for second reading. So at this time, I move that the Lee County Board of Education approve the second reading of the following policies: 2330, 3470/4305, policy 45, let me restart that motion. I move that the Lee County Board of Education approve the second reading of the following policies: 2330, 3470/4305, policy 4540/6140, and policy 4700.
Thank you.
Second.
We don't need a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? The motion is approved. Under the new business, we were going to ask for the work about the ethics committee. We just signed the new ethics.
I think we're doing memorandum.
Okay.
The memorandum.
MOU, okay.
Mr. Chair, board members, this is an update of the memorandum MOU with the community college, Central Carolina Community College, regarding Lee Early College. It was basically just an update of the policy. No major changes are in here. Just an update, sort of as the structure of the school and relationship has changed a little bit, but it's pretty straightforward. Mr. Love handled this for us in working with the community college. And open up to see if anybody has any questions.
We have a joint meeting with both committees, the president of the community college and their crew, and the superintendent and the attorney and myself. And I think we don't have much change on anything. We just signed this to continue our relationship. Since we have Lee Early College over there, a lot of people don't know that Lee Early College belong to Lee County school system. They think it's part of the community college, but it's really our school. So we have to sign a memorandum of understanding to keep being on that campus. So we continue to have that relationship now. So I will need a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that the Lee County Board of Education approve the Lee Early College Memorandum of Understanding.
Second.
We have a motion, we have second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion is approved. At this time, we want to just have Ms. Bowen talk a little bit.
Mr. Chair, at our last meeting, it was brought to our attention that Policy Code 2120, as it's currently written and codified, requires that every year we go through a review of our Code of Ethics. And so each member was sent this copy of the Code of Ethics, and I think probably at this point has signed that for return to Ms. Britt. If you haven't yet gotten it back to her, that would be great. In interest of a thorough review of the policy, I thought we'd read through it and have the input of our attorney and our board as any questions may arise. I think at this point it's fairly straightforward, but in the interest of, I guess, transparency and making sure that we follow our policies, I thought we'd read through it and answer any questions or clarifications needed. Is that okay?
Everything is good.
I mean, do you want us to read it for?
No.
Okay.
We read it all the time here.
Well, I mean, what is on the screen a lot of times is just this top section. That's the only reason I was gonna
read that.
Yeah, I mean, it's 6 of one, half dozen the other to me.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I do have a question for Mr. Love. Wouldn't it be more appropriate to do this yearly in December after the election period?
That's the plan for the policy committee meeting, because the way it was written right now, to bring us in compliance, our thoughts were to go ahead and get the signature on it for this year. At our policy meeting next week, we're going to propose to move the ratification of this to December's, at the same time that we would do reorganization of the board. Essentially, whenever there's any elected member, that would be their first meeting, and also for any returning members. It would just make sense to kind of do it all in one thing, and that's easy to keep it on the board calendar in a consistent way, so it just doesn't lose track. I think that it was probably initially set up prior to the shift in the way we do our board elections.
Yeah,
that's all it.
It was just this one is just to meet the regular schedule now, the new regular schedule.
Correct. So I guess we'll be signing this now, which is October, and then assuming it goes through committee in October, it'll take 60 days to go into effect, which will put it in the December meeting, which is also our reorganization. We're going to be signing it again.
Okay.
So read it twice between now and December, I guess.
That would be wonderful.
Marked by recommendation of the state and national school board with
Miss
Womack.
Ms. Womack, I need to recognize you, and this is a professional board. We don't want to use first name, please.
Okay.
I recognize you, Mr. Chairman, or
Mr. Chairman.
or Mr. or Miss something. Okay.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, in efforts with speaking with the National School Board Association as well, they said at a minimum we should read the entire policy out loud. We read the beginning, but not the bottom half. And I think that's something that Sandra and I both had spoke at together before. That's what a thorough review is.
If you want to read it, it won't take
Yeah, I mean,
few minutes. You go ahead.
It doesn't take that long to read through it, so I would go ahead and do that. Policy Code 2120 entitled Code of Ethics for School Board Members. And again, some of this is going to sound exactly what we saw on the board. That's the first part. The board recognizes that collectively and individually, all members of the board must adhere to an accepted code of ethics in order to improve public education. Members of the Lee County Board of Education should avoid conflicts of interest and appearance of conflicts of interest as we handle the work of the board. Avoid the solicitation and or acceptance of gifts in return for advice or assistance on matters concerning the operation of the business of the board. Avoid the misuse of public funds, avoid misrepresentation or falsification of facts, and avoid making confidential information public. The board accepts the code of ethics established by the North Carolina School Boards Association. In accordance with this code, each member of the board shall commit to the following, and this is the new content that wasn't on the screen earlier. Remember, a board member's first and greatest concern must be the educational welfare of the students attending the public schools. Work with other board members to establish effective board policies and to delegate authority for administration of the schools to the superintendent. Support the employment of those persons best qualified to serve as school staff and insist on a regular and impartial evaluation of all staff. Be familiar with state school laws, policies, and regulations of the State Board of Education and the Department of Public Instruction and current Lee County School Board policies, rules, and regulations. Endeavor to make policy decisions while always keeping in mind the objective of providing students the opportunity to receive a sound basic education, and only after full discussion at publicly held committee and board meetings. Attend all regularly scheduled board meetings insofar as possible, and become informed concerning the issues to be considered at those meetings. Encourage the free expression of opinion by all board members, and seek systematic communications between the board and students, staff, and all elements of the community. Communicate to other board members and the superintendent expressions of public reaction to board policies and school programs. Devote his or her best efforts in participating in student appeal hearings as may be required from time to time. Comply with the North Carolina General Statute 11 SC-50 by earning the required 12 hours of training every 2 years. Learn about current educational issues by individual study and through participation in programs providing needed information, such as those sponsored by the state and national school boards associations. Take no private action that will compromise the board or administration, and respect the confidentiality of information that is privileged under applicable law. And render all decisions based upon the available facts and his or her independent judgment, and refuse to surrender that judgment to individuals or special interest groups. And avoid being placed in a position of conflict of interest, and refrain from using the board member's position on the board for personal or partisan gain. When a written and signed complaint alleging unethical conduct on the part of a member of the Lee County Board of Education is received, the board may conduct a formal investigation. The complaint shall be specific and state clearly the reasons or grounds therefor. If the allegation of unethical conduct is substantiated, the board may pass a resolution of censure, reprimand, or take such other lawful action it deems necessary. And then this bottom paragraph is the one that refers to the July meetings. So each July, the board meetings agenda shall include a thorough review of this policy, and each member, including all newly elected or re-elected board members, will sign a code of ethics statement that includes the provision of this policy. And that completes the policy.
Thank you.
If there are any questions, like I said, using the benefit of our attorney on hand, then we have officially reviewed it.
Any question with that? If we have no question,
Thank you.
we need a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that the Lee County Board of Education go into closed session for the purpose of discussing information that is privileged, confidential, and not public record under North Carolina General Statute, Section 143, 318.11A1.
I need a second.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're in closed session.
Did we come out of closed session?
Second.
Okay.
Jinx.
That's good.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we accept the personnel report as presented in closed session.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion is approved.
Mr. Chairman, as always, I make the most important motion of the night. Motion to adjourn.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.